Welcome to my 1992 Mitsubishi Delica L300. Thought I'd give a little cockpit view here and just kind of show you all the mods that I've made to the inside of this thing to make it a little bit better to drive, a little bit more convenient just in general for things. Vehicles in 1992 were missing a lot of the things that we have now in more modern vehicles, and some of those things are nice, but we also love all the analog and the things from the 90s. So I wanted to try and update this in a way that gave me some creature comforts of modern vehicles, but didn't completely destroy the 1990s feel. So I'm just gonna work my way from the right to the left and kind of show you guys all the things I've done to this to make it a little bit better to drive. So we'll start here. We have my Auxbeam switch panel. I hate toggle switches on everything. I think they're hard to use. They're not convenient. The wiring's messy. So I wanted something that was a little bit more clean. And so this has just got one wire that runs to it. The fuse box is mounted actually back behind me underneath the seat, and well, underneath the van actually. All the lights and everything wired directly to that, which is a lot easier to get to than all the way up here to this switch. And then that wire just runs up to here, and then I can control everything from it. So I have my driving lights, my fog lights, my second set of fogs that point in a kind of crazy angle, and then my glow plugs on here as well. Still got room for other things. I don't know how much more lights I'm gonna add. I don't really need them, but it's great. I love this thing. It looks clean. You can change the colors on it to match everything else, as you'll see here in just a minute. Now for the elephant in the room. Clearly you can see that the steering wheel is not attached. I did do a steering wheel disconnect on it. It is a car. Had zero problems with it. I've had these on multiple vehicles. I live in a pretty high theft area. And so being able to take your steering wheel off and put on a lock over it, like this guy here, makes it pretty nice. This thing will spin freely when it's locked and stops anybody from being able to steal the vehicle, or at least make it a lot harder. Anybody can steal anything if they try hard enough. This is just a good little deterrent. As you can see, here's my wheel. I don't think I'll be able to put this thing on one-handed, but let's see. Yeah, we'll just do that. So aftermarket wheel, obviously, I think this thing looks really cool. I just wanted that kind of more classic look. The only thing I will complain about is this chrome. When the sun comes through and hits it right, sometimes just absolutely blinds you and can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. I've actually thought about painting it black or trying to do something to make it less reflective, because it really can be distracting at times. It's nice to be able to just put it up there. Allows you to stack more stuff in your seat when you're camping. Just gives you more room to get underneath when you're working on stuff. It's just all around great mod. Telephone mount right here. Just a little adhesive mount. My phone's iPhone, so it's got MagSafe. So it just sticks on there. Never had it fall off or anything off-roading or do anything kind of crazy. This is actually the factory gauge pod. There was just a hole there when I bought the van, and I had this gauge pod holder from my last Delica, and it had the broken factory gauges in it. So I replaced those with a Boost EGT and temperature gauge, and then the other one shows like level front to back, right to left of the van when it's all lit up. So the head unit, when I got it, it just had a Japanese head unit in it. Obviously didn't work. I got this guy off Amazon for pretty cheap. I think it was less than $300. I'll have to double check. I'll put everything down below in links, so that way you can find stuff if you're looking for similar things. But it works great. It's got Apple CarPlay on it. It basically mirrors my phone, does everything I need it to do. Makes it a much more like modern experience in here for your GPS and all that good stuff. And then if you look right below that, you'll see my Midlands radio. The Midlands radio down here is kind of awesome. So it's got the speaker built into it, and it's tiny. It's plugged in. It's powered all the time. Don't mind my co-pilot here. He's taking a little nap like usual. This just plugs in like that. Sorry, I can't see. And just clips right there. And then I have my radio. It's a lot easier than just using, a handheld. It allows me to give my passenger, when I have one, a handheld if they're spotting for me off-roading or in an area I can't see very well. Just all along around, a lot better power. Kind of cool. Let's see, what other fun little mods? All right, so there's something really major right here. and let's see if you guys can figure it out. I'm not going to bother telling you. I think it's very straightforward. If you've ever owned a JDM vehicle in America, you'll know why there's something different going on here. And I don't think I've actually ever seen anybody else do this to a Delica. I'd love to hear your opinions, see if you think it matters or not, or if you can even figure it out. If you can't, ask me down in the comments. Let's turn this thing on and give you a better idea of what everything looks like all lit up and talk a few other mods. All right, it's pretty bright, so it's hard to see, but you can see, so like the green, you can't really see any of my gauges right now, but everything's green, all matches good. Here's my EGT boost gauge. You can't barely see that gauge because it's so dark. And then I also have this guy up here. So this is my full-time video rear view mirror. Does a way better job than a normal rear view mirror of showing you what's behind you. It also is quite a bit wider, so you can kind of see your blind spots on the side, which is great. It's also recording all the time out of the front too. So you can hit the button, gives you a front view and a rear view, or just a front view, or just a rear view. I love this thing. It saved my ass already in 2 different accidents. I have them in all my vehicles. I absolutely hate this setup here where you have all these wires coming out. I recently put a new one in my 4Runner that only has 1 wire, looks a lot more factory. I think I'm going to upgrade this one eventually to the same thing just because it looks so much better. There's the head unit on. You can see my second backup camera. So I have a backup camera that looks pretty much straight down, and then I have this one that's looking straight out. So that way I have 2 different views when I'm backing up to make sure I'm not an idiot and hitting anything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So just to recap, I mean, there's a few other little things. So like I have this little door cubby holder thingy that I screwed on there just because I needed a place to put my gloves and my knife and stuff when I'm sitting here. Sometimes I throw my wallet in there. Let's see. I've got a little voltmeter down here that tells me what's going on. It does, what voltmeters do. His favorite mod that I get the most questions about is my heads-up display. So, JDM vehicle, kilometers, all that fun stuff. You can learn to do the math. It's not that hard, but it is really nice to not have to look down and to just be looking out your window and be able to see your speed. Right now it's kind of flashing in the camera. It doesn't do that in real life. That's just the LEDs. It is just a tiny little device mounted right down there, plugged in with a USB that goes over and is plugged in when the car turns on. And then, yeah, it just displays your miles per hour there. You can set it for kilometers or whatever you want it, but I have it set for miles per hour for here in the States. And then it also even gives you your direction heading on it. It gives you a little north, south, east, or west. This thing's sweet. Everybody asks a million questions. It comes with that little reflective surface that you put on your window. It's not very noticeable. It doesn't bug me or anything like that. And yeah, just makes it really cool. My Nissan 240 back in the day had this from the factory, and so I did a little bit of research and found that cool little device on Amazon. I think it was only just a handful of dollars. It was pretty cheap and definitely cool. All right, what else do we have that is added on here? Oh, so my TPS sensors here. So these are actually all connected. This one is out and the company is sending me a new one, but they're basically just caps for your valve stems that send wirelessly to this little box and tells you how much air pressure you have. Okay, so this little guy, he's pretty much passed out. Oh, I did think of something else. So I hate that when it's dark, you can't see down in the wheel wells very well. So I added some green. So as you can see, I just ran some LEDs along here. This makes it just so I can see in the footwells at night. They're really dim. You can barely see them. I have them adjusted way down. Let's see. If you take the remote, you can actually turn them up a lot brighter. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really like them this bright, but yeah, they comes in a little handy just so that way you can see. They also have a light that I think most people are gonna find ridiculous and not like. Don't mind Zephyr, my little co-pilot here. If you look here, there's a green light, this guy. That is just a ribbon light, and it came with the lights for underneath and the wheel wells. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep it. It's a little bit, for lack of a better word, ricer, but I like it. I've had a couple people else tell me they like it. I'd love it if you guys let me know what you think. Is it just absolutely ridiculous looking and stupid, or does it kind of add a little weird flair funness to it? I've also upgraded from the old school see flasher to one of these LED ones, because the flare that came with this was actually originally still in here. I think I have some pictures or videos of it. I'll see what I can find. And I was always just scared that it was gonna like randomly ignite because it was so old. I've got that there. It's got a little magnetic end on it, so it sticks to stuff. You can put it on the back of the vehicle if you break down. But yeah, other than, oh, I guess I've got some cup holders here. I installed this big cup holder here to hold my like hydro flask and stuff when I want. This fits in there. Most of the time it just lives in this little weird sling thing. But I've also got this one for a passenger to put coffee in. This is far from like my final version of this. The cup holders are still going to move around and do some different things. But for now, this is working pretty good. I also have some cup holders and dividers in the center console here that I just keep. I really don't honestly like the cup holders in here. They're in a really awkward spot to grab stuff. They just don't really work. And then the factory ones up here, I guess would be fine if you were in the back, but also don't work very well for you while you're driving. There's definitely going to be some mods there. I've thought about building my own center console and even building like a top center console to put your sunglasses and stuff in. I didn't do this. This was already in here. I have no idea what's going on with that. That was somebody's poor attempt at being creative. But yeah, so this is my 1992 Mitsubishi Delica L300. And like always, Zephyr's irritated with me. He's like, hey, dude, can we just go do something fun? I don't want to sit in the van. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you got any other great ideas for cool little mods or things that would make driving this thing a little bit better, let me know. It's definitely a work in progress. There's going to be a lot of other little things that get changed here in the next little while. I can never leave anything alone. I always got to modify things somewhat. But yeah, this is it. Let me know what you think down in the comments.